Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, guys. Disclosure Artist coming back at you with another movie review that I feel describes the story of the Greys to a T. This is going to be a spoiler alert. This is a brand new movie that's available on Netflix right now. It's called Alien Xmas. It starts off with a race of beings from a lively world. I believe it's Mars. And it shows a montage of one of the last beings there picking the last colorful flower, multicolored, beautiful flower, in an otherwise totally barren backdrop. And when it does this, the flower dies, and the skin of the being turns from green to gray, which essentially is saying that they lost their genetic viability and are now, the way they look, copies of copies. And at which point these beings take to space and they go planet to planet collecting stuff, as the narrator says in the film, which essentially is regenerating their genetic stock with their experiments and what they're doing with lesser capable beings. Later on in the film, the main character, whose name is X, this movie is called Alien Xmas, and they send him to the North Pole, which might as well be Antarctica. The caps, I'm pretty sure both ends of the planet are occupied by an ET presence, and when they send him there, it's for a nefarious purpose by their leader. He sees a lot of stuff he can steal while he's there, and it's not Xmas. It's basically, these beings are called the Kleps, after a kleptomaniac, and they take what they want subjectively, acting much in the capacity of the Grinch, but not out of malice, but rather curiosity for otherworldly technology, etc. Toys is what he's seeing. As it turns out, the larger alien is giving, like the elders, they can speak verbal English that the audience can hear. But the main character is the smallest of his kind, and he only communicates with nonverbal grunts, which, they're not going to tell us that they're telepathic, but they're hinting that it's nonverbal communication. Basically, when this being is out of options and in a tight situation, he plays dead. There's a scene where his robot companion that he sent to Earth with attacks him, and this is very much like Eben hibernation mode that E.T. the extraterrestrial goes into before he's returned to his family, because he's a bit of a worker drone, and they have a different definition of biological death than we do. And when his craft comes within the vicinity of picking him up, he becomes revivable. Essentially comes back to life on his own. And it kind of just lends credence to the fact that angels went down the spiritual path while, Greys went down the technological path. There's a scene where the being is hugged by a child, and it sparks emotions in the being, much like when the Grinch is growing his heart. It grows 3 sizes bigger, but in this case, the being known as X, he turns blue, as if he's getting his color back. A return to emotions, a return to, much like what happens in The Giver, where they begin to see color again. It's all represented that way. Same in the movie Pleasantville. I hadn't even intended to think of that, but it just popped in my head. Basically, he was sent to Earth to create a machine that was to turn off the gravity, but he doesn't use it that way. The technology turns on X, so he comes up with a new plan to build the gravity beam, which fixes the anti-grav sleigh. They have an anti-gravitic sleigh. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. So essentially, he fixes Christmas and everything glows multicolor. They turn on a gravitron or an integratron. This is basically what he builds in the movie. Very much like the 1954 Teslatron that George Van Tassel built in Joshua Tree. If you guys want to look into that, you can, if you don't already know. As the movie's ending, the main character gives a puppy to the elder. She turns pink. Gives a bunny rabbit stuffed animal to the biggest bully of the ETs, and he turns pink. These are all beings that were gray, and they're all getting their color back. So, at the end of the movie, the ETs have saved Christmas, delivering presents in an armada of mini spaceships that glow like Christmas ornaments, and at the end shot, they basically rejoin their mothership on what looks like a giant Christmas tree in space. So I encourage all of you guys to see this. It will show you just how close Christmas and aliens really are. And it's available on Netflix right now. Merry Christmas.